Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Phightins Final here on the Edge of Philly Sports with your boy, Matty B. And home opener, home sweet home, how sweet it is, all that. 5-2 Phillies with the win today as they kick off their home portion of the 2023 schedule. They got the pennant raised, and they came out with a bang. 5-2 was your final score this afternoon at Citizen Bank Park. And it's definitely a game that was needed. Yesterday, the game was supposed to originally scheduled to happen, but due to some weather issues, they canceled the game. Ended up not really raining at all, but whatever. I'll take the day off as they came out today and didn't put it to the Cincinnati Reds. They did not put it to the Cincinnati Reds, but they did what they had to do. A better team, which the Phillies are, defeated an inferior team like the Cincinnati Reds are. And that is exactly what happened today. 5-2 Phillies winners. Before the game, though, we found out some very disheartening news. Derek Hall is going to need surgery on that sprained thumb of his, and that's going to keep him out of the lineup for the next 2 months. So next man up, Cody Clemens, as we have our new first baseman, as he was called up from Lehigh yesterday. He will now get the bulk of the reps over at first base. And Roger Clemens was in attendance today to watch his son open up his 2023 season at the bank. But yeah, it is what it is with this situation at first base. Now, I told you this last year, and I'm going to get into the game right now, but I told you this last year that trading Logan O'Hoppe was a mistake. And I'm going to tell you why. Because right now, all of our first base issues would be covered. We could have JT Realmuto playing first and O'Hoppe catching. But no, we're going to go trade him for an outfielder. But of course, at the time, and it was a need, center field, it was filled. I guess I can't be too upset, but I am not going to let that Logan O'Hoppe thing go. I'm going to die on that hill in 2023. But today, it's not about Logan O'Hoppe. It's not about Cody Clemens. It was about a Phillies victory, 5-2. And let's head over to the game, shall we? At the pitching matchups today, Zach Wheeler looking to bounce back from it wasn't a bad opening start for him back in Texas, but it wasn't great. He was rocked around, never quite seemed to get comfortable. He was opposed by Hunter Green in a colder day than it would have been yesterday, a more windier day than it would have been yesterday. For those of you that are on their way home from the bank right now, and you want to chime in, please let me know exactly how windy it was from your vantage point there in Citizen Bank Park. But let's talk some scoring in this game. The Phillies would get things going in the second inning as Hunter Green would have a case of the walksies as he kept walking people. He ended up getting the bases loaded and then walking in Brandon Marsh to drive in Nick Castellanos to make it 1-0 Phillies. The Reds would then come back in the top of the fifth. Barrero would knock in Steer, tying things up at 1-1. But then in the bottom of the fifth, the Phillies would push ahead. Kyle Schwarber would double, scoring Trey Turner to make it 2-1. Top of the sixth, though, the Reds would not go away. Stevenson would knock in Friedel to make it 2-2. But then JT, a monstrous home run to left center, more center than left center, 448 feet deep to make the score 4-2. It was a two-run jack. Trey Turner was on the dishes at the time. And then Mondo Sosa caps off the scoring for the Phillies in the bottom of the eighth inning with a home run to left center of his own, a 394-foot jack. That's your final score. That's how you get 5-2, folks. That's how you get 5-2. Offensive standouts for the Phillies today. I mean, how can you look any past JT Realmuto, 2 for 4, had a run, 2 RBIs, and that home run. He also had a strikeout on the day. Nick Castellanos had an encouraging day today. 2 for 3 with a run scored. He did get a walk and did strike out once, but it was an encouraging day. Folks, Nick Castellanos is the secret to this all. It is what I've said this from the very beginning. From the outset, if he has a bounce back season, obviously it's going to help us out until Bryce Harper gets back, and then it's just going to make this lineup even better when Harper does return. Nick Castellanos is the hinge point to this entire season for the Philadelphia Phillies, encouraging that he had himself a good day. Bryson Stott, 1 for 4. Pretty much your offensive leaders for the Phillies. On the pitching side of things, Zach Wheeler, 5 1/3, strong innings, strong, effective innings, not overpowering, but strong and effective. 5 hits, 2 runs. They were earned, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Bilotti, Soto, Alvarado, Kimbrel. Kimbrel gets your save. The win will go to Soto. On the red side of things, Hunter Green, 4.5, five hits, two runs. They were both earned. Five strikeouts, 3 walks. Young, Law, and Samaritan, also your pitchers for the Cincinnati Reds. And there you got 5-2. And as I said, it was definitely a game that needed to happen. It was one of those statement games. The Phillies had to come out and have themselves a good afternoon. And you know who also has a good afternoon every afternoon, evening, and morning? That's the boys and the crew here at EOP. Check out all this that we have to offer. It's Friday. We're doing some Chalk Talk. We're doing some Kelly Green Hour, and we're doing some Phightins Final. Don't forget, we have you covered all weekend. Patterson Fanatics, Phightins Final, Saturday, Sunday, PM in the AM, the lacrosse show, and then I'm back. We're going to wrap up the Phightins Final on the weekend for you. And Philly Sports Trips. If you want to travel like the pros, you look no further than Philly Sports Trips. Some of these things are starting to come final and complete. They just finished the ultimate bus tour up to the Bronx. It was a sold-out event. The next thing up on their in the 5-meter target lane for the folks over at Philly Sports Trips is the draft down in KC. Don't forget, they got the twofer. I like to call it the twofer. May 13th to the 16th. Check out some Phillies and some Union soccer. And then the trip to London and Leeds that final week in May to catch some Union soccer across the pond. And I hope today you found yourself in good companies down at Dolan's Bar in the heart of Delco in Ridley Park watching today's home opener. If you couldn't be at the ballpark, this was the place you needed to be. This is the place you always need to be to watch Phillies games. Quizzo, music, great times, memorabilia giveaways, and you never know who may come strolling through the front door. And then, of course, if you're looking for tickets to today's game, or if you were looking for tickets for today's game, or the other 100 and some odd, or I should say 80 home games that we have left, go ahead and look no further than Sherry's Ticket Town at www.sherrystickets.com. Family owned and operated since 1946. Great prices, no hidden fees. Sports, concert, and theater venue tickets, and save an additional 10% when you enter the promo code EOP10. Go ahead and check out Sherry's Ticket Town for all your ticket needs and for all your workman's compensation, motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or criminal law issues, questions, and concerns. Dave Cherry, 610-565-0300 at www.cherryinjurylaw.com. Go ahead and tell him that the Phightins Final, EOP and Matty B sent you. And woo, man, felt good today, didn't it, folks? It felt good today to get that win. 2-5 now on the season. Sean Kilran checking in. What's up, Matty B? Jose Alvarado looked on point. He did, Sean, when we needed him to come in that 8th inning emphatically and shut that door. He struck out the side, and it was wow. It was really good to see. It was good to see. And as we looked at the schedule here, folks, right? Obviously, 1-5 is not the way you want to start a season. I don't care if you're defending National League champions or if you're defending world champions or if you're defending whatever, or if you're just a regular team. You never want to come out to shoot 1-5. But now you look at things, you got 3 here against the Reds. You got 3 coming up against the Marlins. And then you got 4 on the road against the Reds before going out to Chicago to play the White Sox. The Phillies have an opportunity to pull themselves right back out of this thing and get better and get right. It's a long season. My whole thing in April as a baseball fan is I always looked at April in 2 ways. Is you got to finish the month either at 500 or very close to it and healthy. Now, the problem is the Phillies already are not healthy, and they're not going to be healthy at the end of April. So they got that kind of working against them. But you got to fight your way through it somehow. And today, the news with Derek Hall going on the DL or IL for the next 2 months with that surgery required on a sprained thumb. It doesn't sound right, but that is not good. But just like we were all saying that it was now Derek Hall's time to step up when Reese went down, now it's Cody Clemens' time to step up. Now he can take and make a name for himself over there in first bases. Rob Thompson said that he will get most of the reps until further notice over at first. So Cody Clemens, come on down. You're the next contestant on Next Man Up. So it is what it is. But absolutely great day for Jose Alvarado and everybody else. Edge of Philly Sports, JT with the bomb, 485 feet. Just a little shorter than I can hit him at Citizen Bank Park. But that's okay, JT. You're going to work your way up to that point. But no, that was a monster home run. And again, for those of you coming home from the game, please chime in with some on the spot perspective. Tell me about the energy down there. It sounded like it was some high energy. They showed the flag blowing in the wind a couple of times. But tell me what it was like down there for those that were at Citizen Bank Park. Uh, Sean Kilroy saying Kimbrough is going to give us sometimes. Well, yeah, him and Soto and the rest of them until they kind of work themselves out. But it's going to be good. He pitched well today too. Edge of Philly Sports. It's weird seeing Roger Clemens wearing Phillies gear. Is it weird? Yes, it is very weird. But it was cool. Obviously, taken in today's action. I mean, bottom line, he's a dad, right? No matter what, he was a Yankee. What was he? A Yankee, a Red Sox, a Yankee, a Red Sox, Ranger, Astro. The bottom line, he's a dad. And he's going to show some love to his kids. And obviously, his son plays for the Phillies now. He's going to rep the Phillies. It might be turning some heads up there in the Bronx and in New England. Who cares? But it is weird to see that. But it's cool. It's a cool weird to see that. Edge of Philly Sports reports that Hall had a torn UCL. So is that in the thumb? Is there UCL in the thumb? And I'm not being tongue in cheek. I'm actually asking this. I don't know anything about anatomy except for the important stuff. So I don't know. Is there a UCL in the thumb? I know there's one in the shoulder, and I think there's one in the knee. Did he mess up the UCL in your thumb? I'd like to know. Please chime in if you know Edge of Philly Sports. Dave says, nice win. They're still leaving guys on base. Dave, you're taking some thunder away from me, Dave, but yes, they are. Let's get into some of the stats today. I do track stats, folks. I do. On the day, the Phillies left 9 runners on base in total. 9 runners. Now they've raised their season average to not average, but their season total to 52 runners left on base. That's averaging about 7.5 a game. That is not good. With runners in scoring position today, the Phillies were equally bad. 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position today. For the season now, 12 for 60, lowering their batting average with runners in scoring position to an even 200. Phillies did carve out 10 hits, 66 on the season now versus 62. Good for about 9.5 a game. Phillies pitchers, only 4 walks today. That is still too high for me. I don't want to see it go over 3. For the season now, Phillies pitchers have given up 30 walks for about 4 a game. They did work 5 of their own walks today, and that shows good discipline at the plate. Hunter Green was kind of everywhere at a critical time in this game. But, hey, you still had to be disciplined in order to take those walks. The Phillies struck out, though, 9 more times. Phillies pitching, though, struck out the Reds 10 times. For the season now, the Phillies have struck out 68 times for 9.7 average a game. That is extremely too high, all right? As for the striking runners out, they have struck out on average 8.5 batters a game, and 2 home runs today for the Phillies, 6 now on the season versus 10 given up. They're creeping towards that 1 a game mark at 0.8 now on the season. And there you have it, man. There you have it. 5-2 Phillies. Yes, the stat lines are not, some of the stats are not encouraging at all, but it's still a young season, and let's go. Edge of Philly. All right, the ulnar contrario UCL of the thumb is the strong band of tissue running alongside. Oh, good God! Did somebody actually roll this off of a dictionary? Come on, man. All right. Well, thank you, Edge of Philly Sports. I appreciate it. So the UCL. Okay. So is there a UCL in the shoulder though, right? And in the knee, correct? Is that true? Am I right or wrong about that? There's UCLs all over your body, I guess. But there you have it. UCLA. UCL joint torn for Derek Hall. Sorry about that. I tore my ligament in my thumb and chipped and the bone was in a cast. No fun, but it was, yeah. Again, I'm not downplaying and I'm not lying. I was just really, I never had heard that before. So I'm glad that Edge of Philly Sports can report that on the spot reporting and let us know what the UCL is in the thumb. So 2 months, Derek Hall will be out of the line. Green got a couple of tough situations that he didn't pitch bad. Yeah, he didn't pitch bad, but he didn't pitch good. You know what? The ACL and the MCL what's the new? What's the new? ACL is MCL is in the knee. All right. There you have. Not only do you get up-to-date baseball information here, you get a medical synopsis for those of you who, like me, are not quite up on their anatomy and their joints and ligaments and tendons and all that. So thank you, Edge of Philly Sports, for chiming in and letting us know everything there is to know about the UCL joint inside of your thumb. Let's now take a look a little bit around Major League Baseball on this Friday afternoon. Quite a bit in action tonight. Let's talk about the games that are. Is there anything currently going on right now? Let me see. Let's talk about the games that are live and happening at this moment. It is 7-6 in the top of the ninth in Baltimore. The Orioles ahead of the Yankees. 5-3 in Cleveland. Mariners over the Guardians. That is at the bottom of the seventh. The Astros and Twins are all tied up at 1 in the top of the ninth. KC 3-1 over San Francisco in the top of the eighth. And 12-7 Pittsburgh over the White Sox, top of the eighth in Pittsburgh. Tonight, later on at 6:40, you got Oakland and Tampa. At 7:20, you got San Diego at Atlanta. 8:10, St. Louis at Milwaukee. 8:40, Washington at Colorado. 9:38. I'm not making that up. The game's starting at 9:38. Toronto at the Angels, and 9:40, the Dodgers at the Diamondbacks. Already gone final today. The Mets all over the Marlins 9-3. The Cubs beating the Texas Rangers 2-0. And that Baltimore New York score has not gone final. Baltimore 7-6 winners, and of course your Phightins 5-2 over the Cincinnati Reds. Setting up for tomorrow's game 2 of the 3-game set. 4:05 start at the Bank. Bailey Falter gets the nod for the Phillies. He'll bring his 0-1 and his 3.38 ERA to bear, opposed by Nick Lodlow, who's bringing his 1-0 and his 3.60 ERA to bear. That is a 4:05 start time tomorrow at Citizen Bank Park as the Phillies and Reds series rolls on and from South Philly. And folks, just a little bit of a programming note. This is going to be the end of me for about a week or so. I am popping out on vacation. I will not be on the EOP network for the next week, but I will be watching and I will be rooting along just like everybody else. But don't worry, we got you covered. The rest of the the rest of the Phightins Final crew will take you through the rest of these games as we get revved up here on this home opener, man. Felt great. Felt great. And that is your final score, 5-2 Phillies, 2-5 now on the season. And I've been waiting for the entire, I've been waiting a long time to do this. Finally, I can send off with this. Ladies and gentlemen, we will talk again tomorrow after the Phillies and Reds. Until then, Harry the K, what you got?